60 Minutes Overtime.
I wonder, what is that really going to look like, and what is that going to feel like? I have this sense it can't not touch your soul to see the Earth from the perspective of the moon.
This week on 60 Minutes, we're taking you back to the moon. We're going there with the Artemis II mission. Artemis II is part of a series of space launches that NASA is engaged in right now. There was Artemis I. This next one up is Artemis II, and Artemis II will take the astronauts around the moon and bring them back. We went down to the Kennedy Space Center just a couple of weeks ago to watch the rollout of the Artemis II rocket. It's an SLS, a Space Launch System rocket. It is the most powerful rocket that NASA has ever put into space. It's huge. It's a beautiful piece of machinery. At the top of it sits the Orion module. It's the capsule that the astronauts will sit in that will take them up to the moon. We spoke with the four astronauts, Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen. Artemis II is like a test flight designed to have the astronauts actually take control of the craft. They're going to be in low Earth orbit while they're testing the equipment, and then they're going to go off in sort of a figure eight around the moon and then come back. Depending on when they actually launch, these astronauts could be as far from Earth as any humans have ever been before. And when they are on the far side of the moon, for about 40 minutes, they'll be out of all contact with Earth.
We will be taking pictures and making observations and recorded descriptions of what we're seeing on the moon. So we will be contributing to lunar science at that point, hopefully.
Will you be able to take some time to just look out the window and say, gee whiz, that's the moon?
According to our geology team, no. We are going to be studying the geology of the moon the entire time, down to the last second. But yeah, we are going to have some human moments, for sure. We're going pretty far past the moon, actually. We're going to be quite a bit further. Apollo was in low lunar orbit. They were about 60 miles off the surface of the moon. We're going to be 3,000 to 6,000 miles off the surface of the moon. So the moon's about that big out the window. You can see the whole thing, North Pole to South Pole on the far side. And I will tell you, when Earth set in the simulator that we did last week, when Earth set, it was magnificent. But when Earth rose, it stopped us all in our tracks.
Oh my God, look at that picture over there. There's the Earth coming up. Wow, is that pretty?
We haven't sent astronauts back to the moon in more than 50 years. In mythology, Artemis was Apollo's twin sister. But these missions are very dissimilar. The Apollo missions, by comparison to Artemis, were simple.
4, 3.
There was one massive rocket that took the astronauts into low Earth orbit and then sent the lander to the moon. And after a bit of time on the moon, they were able to take the lander back up and come back to Earth. And it was all sort of very linear.
And liftoff of Artemis I.
Artemis is much more complex, but they're both going about it in similar ways. Apollo 11 actually put American astronauts on the surface of the moon.
Beautiful, just beautiful.
But the previous Apollo missions
All right, you are go for TLI. Over.
were all sort of tests, sort of like what they're doing now with Artemis II, to see if the equipment worked, to see how the astronauts could handle space.
And this is where we find out exactly where we are in space, what direction and how fast we're traveling.
Going into space is dangerous.
The 4 core stage engines are back at maximum thrust.
You know, these astronauts are sitting on top of a lot of explosives that are pushing them into space. It's a dangerous thing. I saw the Space Shuttle Challenger explosion. It's something I'll never forget.
Today, the efforts will once again focus on trying to retrieve the debris that is floating in the Atlantic off Cape Canaveral. The shuttle Columbia's nose cone was found here in Hempel late yesterday.
I also covered the recovery of the Columbia that broke apart coming back into the Earth's atmosphere. The astronauts perished. So we have to always keep in mind that as spectacular as these launches are, as rousing as they are, they're just as dangerous.
Before I jump into T-38, I say a prayer. I say a prayer and I say I love you to my wife and daughters every time. And so I would just love to invite people into, we know that what we do comes with risks, and if folks are willing, I would love to encourage folks to the thoughts and prayers. It's a great time, like right then, until we get back in contact with Earth.
We're in a period where we're starting to look beyond the Earth. We've already got rovers on Mars. So with the Artemis missions, part of the goal is for us to get to the moon and turn the moon into sort of a base from which we can then reach off to Mars. And from Mars, who knows? So when the history of this mission is written, what would you hope it says?
I hope they forget all about Artemis II.
Why is that?
We, as a crew, and I think that's a little bit extreme, but we talk about our legacy being enabling the future missions, and all the way from Artemis III to Artemis 100 to missions to Mars. But we
Completely agree.
But you're the first step.
Yeah, but watch what's coming next. It gets pretty extraordinary from here.